Pepper says, are you ready to declutter some kids' clothes? I know I am. Hello everyone and welcome back to A Hoarder's Heart. On this episode, we are decluttering all of the kids' clothes. I laid it all out KonMari style because for me, it's a lot easier for me to declutter when I see everything laid out. And this is really good because we're starting to change seasons into fall, into winter. That way we can have the kids' closets and drawers ready, organized, so that they have clothes for the upcoming season. Now we're first going to go into the basement because this is the churned area of the house because we completely cleared out a storage locker, and right now this is where a lot of stuff sits for now. But I know that there's some kids' clothes in here that we gotta go through. Like right here, here's bin number 1. And right over here, we have 2 bins of sentimental kids' clothes, not baby clothes, so they'll come up too. Now, this bin was unmarked and I had a feeling that there was kids' clothes in there, so of course, after opening it, I realized that, yep, this bin has to come upstairs too. So hubby brought up the bins so that I could start laying it out all on our couch. Now, some of you might be thinking, wow, this is a lot of work. Well, this is where I'm going to take the time to be grateful for my ADHD to always be consistently giving me energy throughout the day. But also doing the KonMari style this way has really helped me to declutter with my hoarding disorder because it gave me a chance to look at everything that I have and then make decisions, because a lot of times I forget what I have. And because I forget what I have, it makes me hoard because I think that that's the last of that category that I have. So I'll tend to hoard it because I'm not aware of everything I have in a certain category. Another reason why I like laying everything out so I can see it all is because it's become a habit for me. I started doing those huge KonMari clothes decluttering back in 2019. I was scared, I was terrified, and it was overwhelming to say the least. But because I've done it each and every year, it's become a habit. It's become a new behavior. It's not as overwhelming as it used to be. And as we continue to empty out these bins, Miss Pepper is making sure that none of these birdies are trying to get into this house and mess us up. And I also really want to take this time to point out how far we've came by doing this each year. This was in 2019. When I pulled up 18 bins from the basement to do a children's clothes KonMari method. I had 18 bins. This is when I was a level 4 hoarder. I felt the need to have 18 children's bins. But as you can see, over the years, as we decluttered, we lowered that amount of bins, all the way down to now only having 4 bins that we're pulling up. And you know today we're going to lower that amount again. And this just shows that the slow and steady decluttering route has worked with my hoarding disorder. Because if I would have started with 18 bins plus all the clothes that were in their closets, downsized it to 2 bins, that would have been too much of an extreme. It would have been too far away from my baseline at that time. It would have triggered my nervous system into sounding the alarms of being overwhelmed, anxious, panic attack, self-sabotaging, or just plain giving up and never trying again. Since I decluttered at a slower pace, letting go of what kept my nervous system calm, gradually increasing the sizes of those piles over time, this created a change in my decluttering baseline, and it became a normal weekly behavior. So much so that I have forgotten that I used to have 18 bins of clothes in the basement. I actually shocked myself that at one time I had so much because it's so far away from my 2023 baseline today. And I can honestly say that by looking at all those old clothes in the pictures that I don't regret letting go of any of them because I'm no longer emotionally attached to them. And that's because we were consistently altering, changing, and improving our decluttering baseline at a pace that did not disrupt our present reality. That's why it's so important to always take a moment and look back to see how far you've come. And now Miss Pepper is happy to show you all the clothes pulled out, laid out so that we can do the KonMari method and start looking through the clothes, seeing what sparks joy and what does not so that we can let it go. Now, I know that finally I can do this in a proper way because before I could only pick out what didn't spark joy because everything had sparked joy back then in 2019. Now, I'm starting off with Brandon's clothes, and honestly, Brandon is old enough now to make decisions on his clothes because I can honestly say that I'm not emotionally attached to them anymore. I'm just kind of getting rid of anything that he's outgrown and see if Tyler would like any of them because he is going into that size now. And what does fit Brandon, I'm going to hang back up into his closet for him to rearrange because he wants to completely redo his closet off camera because he's getting older and he wants to keep these things more private.
Oh, yeah, Peppy. Oh, Peppy, you take a little snooze. That was a lot of work this morning, wasn't it? Oh.
So now I'm going to go through Tyler's clothes, doing the same process, letting go of what doesn't fit him anymore and keeping what does. So now we're going to put the clothes that fit Tyler presently back in the closet. I like to put them back in rainbow order. I like how this looks aesthetically. Plus you can see how much clothing you have of one color, because if you have 10 red shirts, maybe you don't need to buy another one. And now what's left is a big old pile of clothes from the bins that were in the basement. So as we're going through this big pile of clothes, I know that my kids have outgrew all of it. They don't fit in anything that's sitting on this couch. Now, I know that 2 of those bins were sentimental. I had labeled them before as sentimental and I wasn't ready to let go of them. But as I'm looking through all of the clothes, I feel that I am ready to condense that to one bin, one sentimental bin, the last hoard, if you will. That's what makes my nervous system feel calm, because when I pull a certain shirt, it's almost like I get into like a time travel thing where it takes me back. The memories are so vivid. It takes me back to Christmas or Halloween when they were little. And I have been kind of mourning that kind of era of when they were preschoolers and toddlers and even 6, 7, and 8, those sweet little innocent years. I've been mourning them, and holding on to some of it just brings that back to life. But you know, the funny thing is that my son just recently, when I was telling him how much I just missed when they were so little, my son very softly and sweetly looked to me and had said, "Mom, I'm going to quote Dr. Seuss." And he said, "Don't be sad because it's over. Be happy because it happened." Heart just bursted with love. Like, my God, my kids are awesome. I didn't want to get teary-eyed with that, but yeah, it was what I needed to hear at that moment. So I know that I'm going to be able to get rid of a majority of this. And even though I messed up the Dr. Seuss quote, Brandon did tell it to me correctly. It's probably what my heart had heard. And I just wanted to share that with all of you. And this is the sentimental bin that I'm going to keep for now. And now me and Miss Pepper are very excited to show you that we have 3 empty tubs. And all of this is going out of the house. This is what we're decluttering and letting go of. Most of this is going to go into a yard sale, our Facebook Towns giving page, or go to a donation. I am going to do my absolute best to make sure that they are reused so that it does not go into a landfill. And with that, I had this realization that this might be my very last HUGE KonMari method on the kids' clothes because of how much progress we made, how much we have shifted our decluttering baseline, because now all we have is one kid's sentimental bin and what's in the kids' closets and drawers. And my hope and my prayer is that this video motivated and encouraged you to clean, declutter, and let go of something in your home today too.